Welcome to the I Get Better podcast with your hosts, Charlene, Rene, and Phedra Smith, where we discuss topics related to life, love, mental, physical, and spiritual health, and how we can all get better together.
Okay, so welcome to our I Get Better About Us episode. This is our episode to just introduce ourselves to you, to let you get to know each of us a little bit more, so you can see where we've been, where we're coming from, where we want to go with this platform. So I'm going to get us started. So my name is Charlene Rene Collins. I go by Charlene Rene, Rene being my middle name, the name that was given to me by my father. He actually named me after his sister, my aunt, Charlene Rene. And he's always called me that. And he's the only person who's ever called me that. But I decided to just go by that professionally for a few different reasons. So that's why I go by Charlene Rene. So just want to give you a brief introduction to who I am, where I've come from, where I've been, what I've been doing, and what has led me to where I am now. So I like to always say that I was born in one place, I was raised in another, and I grew up in another place. So I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. And the way that happened was that my father was in the military, so he was stationed in Hawaii, and so that's how I was born there. And then we soon after moved from Hawaii, so I was only a baby when we moved, so I never really got to fully experience being a Hawaiian child, but I was born there. So when I was just an infant, we actually moved to Southern California because my father got restationed somewhere else. So he got stationed in San Diego, and we actually lived in the city of Chula Vista, which is a border city. And I loved it there. I really did. I had my grandmother there. I had my cousins, my uncle, my aunts there, and I grew up there. But at the age of about 9.5, my mom, who had divorced my father by that point, decided that she wanted to move us back to her hometown in Pensacola, Florida. So she and my brother and I took ourselves and a trip across the country to Florida, which I would have to say was a bit of a culture shock for me, having grown up in California. Or been raised in California. So I was also there with some other family members, so that made it good. But this was my formative years. This is where I like to say I actually grew up in Pensacola. That's where I spent my adolescent years. That's where I graduated high school from. And so it's a part of me, but I do not really claim it as my hometown. I like to say I'm a California girl, but I was ready to leave after graduation. So I decided to take my talents to the, one and only University of Florida and became a part of the Gator Nation. So I went to college. I always knew I wanted to go to college. I always wanted to be a lawyer. That was my life's goal because I always felt like lawyers just make a lot of money. I'm smart. I can argue my way out of anything. This is the career for me. But but a couple years in, I decided that too was not the path for me. So I went on and decided, post-graduation that I wanted to become a homicide detective because I love the show The First 48, and I thought being a lawyer was going to be boring. I didn't want to go to school anymore. I didn't want to work in an office, and that just seemed so exciting to me, and I knew I could do it. So in order to do that, I found out that I needed to become a police officer first. So while that was never on my life's goals to be a police officer, I found myself in that career at the age of 22 years old. Now, by this time, I had actually gotten married. I had my first child, a son, when I was just before I started the police academy. So he was actually 6 months old when I started the police academy. And after I finished all that, about maybe less than a year in, I decided that I did not want to do that forever either. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So many years went by and I was just in this career and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had another son, and so I'm a wife, I'm a mother at this point, but I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. Circumstances in life occurred, which led me to deciding that I wanted to be a marriage counselor. And so for me to do that, I needed to go back to school to get my master's degree. And now, mind you, I never wanted to have to go back to school, but in order to do this, I needed to go back to school. So I did go back to school. I began my master's program in marriage and family therapy, and I started my journey into mental health and family therapy that way. So during that time, I did go through some life changes. I ended up going through a divorce. I ended up moving from Gainesville to another city and getting started in my career as a counselor. And during all of this time, I was just still figuring out what exactly I wanted to do, even while knowing that I wanted to be a therapist. So what I did from there was just continue to do what I needed to do. I finished my degree. I got my master's degree. And from there, I stepped out into wanting to build up my expertise and my competence as a therapist and kind of figure out what path I want to take as a counselor, which sort of led me to this venture. I always knew I wanted to be not always, but several years ago, I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I wanted to work for myself. And one of the ways that I wanted to do that was to have my own private practice and also do a few other things. So I spoke with one of my good friends, my old college roomie, who became one of my best friends, who also ended up going into the mental health field, Miss Phedra Smith. And we were talking one day, as we always do, about, life and problems and issues and things. And we really became each other's counselor at times. And we were really getting a lot of good stuff out of it. So that led to the idea for a podcast. And the name I Get Better kind of just came to me because I feel like in life, we can rarely be perfect at anything. And most of the time we are not the worst at anything, but we can always be getting better. And it just keeps you in a position of striving for the next level, for remaining humble and remaining teachable and learning and striving for the next level in life. And so I Get Better was really born out of that desire to just be better in every area of life. Everything that comes our way, I feel like we can get better at it if we seek out the necessary resources, the help, the people in our lives that can help us be able to elevate. And so that's where we are now. You'll be seeing a lot more of what's to come from us soon, but I just wanted to kind of give a hopefully brief introduction into who I am, who Charlene Rene is, and you're going to get to know me a lot more as we go on this journey together through the I Get Better podcast. So that's me. And now we're going to learn a little bit more about Phedra Smith.
That was interesting. I didn't know that much about you. It's kind of sad, actually.
What? There's a lot you don't know about me.
I know. I feel like if it doesn't come up, then, it never just comes up. So right. That's pretty cool. So yes, I'm Phedra Smith, originally known as Phedra Young. I am a native of Pensacola, Florida. Let's see, about me, I have 2 children. But from the beginning, I grew up in church. And so a lot of my life was based around going to church on Tuesday night, Friday night, sometimes Saturdays, all the time on Sundays, most of the time on Sunday evenings and Sunday nights. So that's a lot of church. So that and academic things were pretty much my life. My family is big in sports and stuff and academia, and so that's kind of where I went. I actually was, let's see, I don't know if I was the first. I want to say I was the first to actually move away to college to pursue a college at a major university. And I also went to the University of Florida, Go Gators, which is where I met my husband. I met amazing friends, Charlene included. And I was able to really start to get to know who I was as a person. I started my family there, and I eventually moved back to Pensacola, Florida for love and support for my family because it was just easier with 2 children. Long story short, I thought when I went to the University of Florida, I knew I wanted to be when I grew up, and I actually didn't. I left not knowing what I wanted to do, and that was a pretty difficult time for me. And I actually, after praying and talking to Charlene and her just saying, just try counseling, like that's something you've been talking about for a long time, why not try it? I tried it, and I never looked back. That was where I was supposed to be with my life, and so I have enjoyed it so far. I really specialize in things like trauma and really just helping individuals that really are pursuing a healing and transformation in their lives. I think I went into it because I too started becoming more self-aware of the things that were going on in my life and in my family, and that really prompted me to pursue that career. But some interesting things about me, I was not born in Hawaii, so I do not have a cool story like that, but I'm pretty sure I'm a pretty cool person anyways, and I love to laugh. I love music. Charlene and I share those things in common, which I believe that is what originally bonded us, is our love for music and knowledge and laughter and things of that nature. But I'm a firm believer in growth and healing, and that is why we are doing what we do. And so we're so happy that you are joining us, and we cannot wait to get to know you guys and for you to get to know us and chime in and give us suggestions on what you want to hear. We're very excited to be doing this with you.
Right. So that is us. And since you mentioned the love of music, I think we can share a little secret with our people today
about
our musical background. So one of the things that not many people know about us is that when we were in college, we started a rap group together, and we were recording songs. We were called PCG, the Pensacola Girls. We recorded these songs, and we had so much fun. We used to also come up with dances together and choreograph dances to some of our favorite songs. I remember those days very fondly. They were very fun. And so you might hear us, make a comeback with our rap careers.
Or you might not.
You might. We're going to be the mother UCG version, so we can make up some stuff about our kids and parenting and relationships and whatnot. So I think that would be fun.
That would be fun.
We could put a little spin on what we're doing. So so hopefully, this just gives you a little bit about us, of getting to know us. You're going to get to know us very well. Our personalities are going to come out through this podcast starting from today and beyond. But we really do want you to know who we are and be able to connect with us, because we've been where a lot of other people have been, and we're still learning, we're still growing. But I think it's our duty to give back to our community, to give back to our families, to give back to the people that we love, and see other people, getting to new levels in their life. So I think it's not just for us to grow, but to take what we've learned and what we've been through and share it with others so that they can get better. I can honestly say that I have gotten better, a lot better over the years, thanks to the Lord, to God, to friends, to family, to my experiences in life, and so many other things that I find that have really, really blessed me and made me a better person. And so I just really want to use this platform to give back a piece of myself. So we're going to be coming to you with topics related to life, love, spiritual, mental, physical health, and any other topic that comes up that really God puts on our heart to share on. So hopefully you stick with us through this journey and connect with us. You can always send us a message or an email or reach out to us via social media or however you find us, and let us know what you would like to hear us talk about on the show. So that is us, and we will keep getting better together.